Why do we need salvation? Why do we even need Jesus? Probably heard questions like that all the time. So if you're trying to preach or you're trying to share the words like,
I don't need Jesus. I don't need that guy. Look, I'm balling right now. I'm good.
Oh man, that Jesus man gonna pay my bills? Is he gonna pay my bills? No, I don't need him.
questions that's going to be answered soon. But first, before you even answer those questions, you need to know what is salvation and what is grace. Explained in Gen Z terms, because that's how I talk. And that's how the best way for me to explain it to you. Starting with salvation. You might think to yourself,
Mr.Mission, why are you making this type of video?
well, because not everyone knows what salvation is. Especially in this day and age of Gen Z, like, ain't nobody trying to read. Reading? No. Reading. Wait, I can't read. We got brain rot. Ugh. But what is salvation? It's the key. Salvation is the first thing that you get and the first thing that you receive once you follow Christ. It's your base in your Christian life. It's your start in your Christian life. You cannot continue if you don't have salvation. If you do not have salvation, you're a fraud. It's basically going to a door, trying to open it without a key. You're just gonna be the entire time. You need salvation. You need Christ to open that door. And in this example, hypothetical speaking, we have Mr.Mission 69. Oh, look at him. Terrible. No one wants to be that guy. But guess what? We're all that guy.
Spare some shekels.
Mr. Mission 69, he's been living his life terrible. He's been living his broke life. His broke life. Doing his broke activities. Editing mic here. Keywords. Broke does not mean money. Like you have no money. So before you get out your pitchforks and meteorine blades trying to attack me, hear me out on this one. Broke means that you're filled with unrighteousness. Because your sin leads you broke. You're filled with unrighteousness and emptiness. That's what it means to be broke. Alright, thank you. That's what I was talking about. Alright, back to the video. Here comes Himothy. Himothy is coming in. Look at him looking all dripped out. Dripped out, looking on the fine linen and everything. And he tells Mr. Mission 69, follow me. He tells him to come. And he does. And it changes his clothes forever. He looks at himself. Man, I am dripped. I'm bleeding. And he doesn't want to go back to his original life. Everything is looking good. Everything's looking nice right now. But in the back of his mind, something is telling him, man, I miss my original life. So he goes back for a little bit. Then days.
Spare some shekels.
Weeks.
Spare some shekels.
Months.
Spare some shekels.
Years.
Spare some shekels.
And then he remembers why he left in the first place.
No.
This could happen to any of us. Now we on to our second segment. Grace. What is grace? Grace is love. Because here comes Himothy again. He comes back. He comes back with forgiveness. And he's there waiting with his hand stretched out. Even though you made the same mistake again, he comes back telling you to come back to him. Even though you're full of shame, full of regret, full of all these things, he's there. Jesus has done the same thing for us, even though we reject him every day. See, me personally, I will not let that slide. This is why we're not him. We're not him. He gets rejected every day by 8 billion people. We get rejected once and we're like, you know what? I'm gonna do my own thing. This is why he's different. His grace is different. His love is different. Without him, we would not be sanctified. Without him, we would not be saved. This is what salvation is. He came down and he saved us from the shekels and put us in fine linen. He took our sin away and wrapped us in righteousness. And even if we continue to sin, because it's hard, he knows it's hard, his grace is there. Jesus talks about a scenario just like this, and I believe is one of his parables in Luke. I'm not sure about the exact verse. I'll put the verse right here. On Luke chapter, I'm not gonna quote on it. I'll just put the verse right here. It's the story of the prodigal son. The story of the prodigal son. How the son left. He left and he wanted to do his own thing. But when he was out there, it wasn't too good for him. It wasn't too good for him, and he was doing bad. It was just like, he was getting himself dirty, and like he was like, you know what? I need to go back home. I need to go back to my father. But even in his shame, even in his dirty rags, he went back to his father. And when his father saw him, he wasn't angry. He wasn't angry at all. He wasn't furious. He ran and he was happy to see him. He was happy to see him. And when he saw him, he wrapped him. He wrapped him in his most fine linen, his most fine clothes, like he was back home, like he never left. That's how God's love works, from sanctification and grace. And it's a surprise every time. God's love is everlasting. God's love is everlasting. What a God we have. Ooh, that was a good one. Let's try to end this off with a verse of the week. Yeah. Let's try to keep this week by week. We're editing. Hopefully, it could be a weekly thing. With school and edits. Ooh. Anyways, verse of the week, guys. The one who keeps God's commands lives in him, and he in them. And this is how we know that he lives in us. We know it by the Spirit he gives us. 1 John 3:24. God bless you guys.